Hi, it's me, Sailor Moon, and it's me, Sailor Mars. And today we're going to talk about, this one thing that I think we should talk about. Well, alright, so there's a lot of folks out there that wonder if the unstraight folks were handled right in Sailor Moon or not. Now, this would come out to your belief or not if you believe that they were handled wrong or handled right, you know. So, well, no, actually, I'm not going to talk about that at all. I'm not going to talk about that at all. So, I wouldn't know how to say it right. So, just forget I even talked about it. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about here is why Sailor Stars didn't get. I mean, Sailor Stars did get work on, but it took years for it to come out. But alright, I'm not even sure what. Sapper clear my throat. I don't even know what to talk about here. I mean, alright. So back in the day, I used to get a lot of hate, and and none of it was needed. And the haters would say all kinds of things. They had their thoughts and beliefs. You know, some haters would say that it was wrong to do this, and other haters would make fun of it. Well, at the end of the day, that was their thought and belief. They couldn't make it true, you know. And that, Sapper clear my throat, is true. Since at the end of the day, the haters didn't have any truth to anything they were saying. They didn't know anything about Dwayne or what he did or what he said when he wasn't on YouTube, so they would just make up stuff. You know? So, yeah. So, anyway, getting off of that, I want to say that, you know, that yes, the haters do have their right to their thoughts and beliefs, but at the end of the day, they can't make any of it true. It's not unlawful, it's not evil or sinful or wicked to do any of this stuff on YouTube. Yes, it's true, the YouTube Webstead oversight and the YouTube followership oversight says what you can and can't do, and says what the website does and cannot do. But at the end of the day, it isn't written out that what I was doing was wrong. I mean, there were a lot of, haters and whatever you want to call them saying, oh, this was wrong, or saying you weren't doing it the right way, or saying, oh, no one will take this earnest, or, you're just making fun of, all you're doing is shaming yourself. Well, that was their thought and belief of it. They couldn't make any of it true, you know. And here I am, soon to be 8 years doing it here, and a lot of them are not even around anymore. And I forgive them for what they say and what they do, right, Sailor Mars? Yeah, you're right, Sailor Moon. I know a lot of these haters out there wouldn't believe it, but Dwayne does forgive them for all the things they said and all the things they did. But at the end of the day, it was only a thought and belief. They had no truth to make any of it true, and a lot of things they said were made up. They didn't know anything about Dwayne. All they knew is what they saw and what they heard in the films. So that wasn't much to go by, so they would make up a lot of stuff. Then they'd go and make fun of him, put him down. And this started way back in 2008 YL, and it truly kind of ended in 2013 between YL. Now, a lot of folks might say, oh, when you're putting yourself out there, when you're being in the interweb, you're going to come over folks that don't like what you do. Now, if it was only what, now that's true. Alright? But at the end of the day, the stuff they said and the stuff they did was never needed. You know, if they were all grown up, as they always say they were, one, they would not be behaving that way. Two, they wouldn't be making fun of or putting down anyone. And C, if they didn't like what they saw, they would go somewhere else. But the haters did not behave in any other way. Did not behave in the ways that grown up folks would behave. The haters behaved in a sad way that made me out to believe that these folks just saw the interweb as some kind of bullying tool. You know, like, it's the interweb, so who cares? It's not true life. And then they'd get off and they would be, you know, whatever. But that's how it's like with a lot of them. They don't take the interweb earnest. To them, it's not true life, so they don't care what they say and what they do. They don't believe that they have to. They don't believe that they have to be kind or anything. They don't believe they have to follow oversight, because to them, the interweb doesn't have any of that. So they would act. Childish, because that's how they. And it wasn't even that. You know, they always like to talk about how grown up they were, but then the things they said and did in their films, or what they said about us and others, was not good. Yeah, you're right, Sailor Mars. The haters would always say things like, grown ups don't do this, or, you know, get a job, or this or that. Well, the downside to any of that is that these folks were the childish ones. They were the ones that came in and made fun of and put down Dwayne and said all kinds of mean things that weren't true, seeked to besmirch his name, you know, went around, you know, and hacked and whatever the hell they did. You know, you can't have it both ways. You can't come on the interweb and do a bunch of, you know, do a lot of childish and mean things and then tell everyone you're grown up. Or tell folks that you have the right to do it because you do this or you do that. But at the end of the day, I don't really know what their hang-ups were. I don't know why they said the things they said. You know, I can't go back in the past and undo anything, and all I can do is learn from the past. And what I learned from the past is that I have run or lead over myself. I can't do anything about what anyone else says or does. But I can do it. I know it. I can have some run lead over myself. So about soon to be 8 years ago, I made a choose not to talk to my haters, not to watch their films, not read what they wrote down on my films or on my fairway, to lock them and hush them. And that's the only thing I could do to stop them. Since at the end of the day, making films on them, scathing them for the way they behave, or, you know, all that would do is just get them to make more films, write more mean things, and it would just never end. So I chose to put an end to it by being done with it. You know? You're right, Sailor Moon. At the end of the day, the only runner lead anyone has is over themselves. You know, you have no runner lead over what anyone else says or does, only yourself. And Dwayne learned that about soon to be 8 years ago. It will be 8 years come this May, so he learned that about 8 years ago. You know, that might be the only thing he learned through that whole thing. So, do you think the haters learned anything? I don't really know if they did or they didn't. You know, for all I know, they could still be out there, but they could still be bullying and picking on someone else. Which, if they are, that is sad. You know, it was wrong when they did it to Dwayne. It's wrong if they're doing it to others. You know, I would like to hope or like to think that some of the haters may have learned how to not. I would like to hope that some of the haters out there learned something from it all, and some of them have shifted their ways. But sadly, I'm guessing a lot of them, many of them probably still behave the same way they behaved 7 years ago, or soon to be 8 years ago. You know? So that's it. If you like that film, then follow us at Sailor Moon for Life, or watch our last film over here. I'm Sailor Moon. I'm Sailor Mars. Hope you like this film.